Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah, otherwise known as Little Snips, and if you are here for the first time, welcome. I'm glad to see you. If you are a returning viewer and you're coming back, you're subscribed to my channel, welcome back. Glad to see you again. This is take 2 of this video. Before, the first time I did the video today, I was all made up, I had my makeup done, I had my hair nice, and then I'm recording in a new format again, changing things up again. I'm recording on my phone now instead of recording on my laptop camera because I think the quality and the color are better. But it means that my space and my time are more limited. And yeah, in the process of trying to make this video today, I actually lost all of the video. So this is take 2, so hopefully I will not ramble quite as much. Hopefully I will make more sense. And, you guys will enjoy the video more, but it does mean that you get the hat, because I went and calmed down, took a shower, and all that kind of stuff after I made the first video and lost it. Yeah, so I'm going to cover my hair today, again. But anyway, today is February 7th, 2018, and it's been 2 weeks since my last video, so it's about time that I come and talk to you. I hope that this format works out better. I hope you can see things better. It definitely looked nicer in the video before I lost it, so we'll see how it goes this time. I will try not to talk very quickly or too quickly this time because I've already said everything before. I already talk fast sometimes, so let's see if I can keep it under control this time. Right. So, business things, business-esque things. The first couple of things that I want to tell you about are a couple of requests from other Flosstubers that I have seen lately. Oh, and here's my shirt for the day. Sums up my attitude pretty much perfectly. Anyway, there are a couple of requests from other Flosstubers that I've seen that I thought I would talk about. Because I thought they were interesting requests, and I thought that they were appropriate and needed to be spread a little bit more widely. So, the first is from a new-to-me Flosstuber, whose Flosstube channel is The Silent Stitcher. Her name is Corey, and she is a deaf stitcher. So, she's made a couple of Flosstube videos, and she's made them using American Sign Language. That's the way she communicates. We make our videos in the way we communicate, so, you know, it's perfect. She made a request that maybe Flosstubers who are not using sign language could either make sure that their closed captioning is on when they record videos, or post videos to YouTube, and that the captioning is more or less correct, or that they go in and do their own captioning on their videos, because, obviously she can't always follow along with us. I don't know if she lip reads, but obviously she can't always follow along with us and understand everything that we're saying. So she thought it would be nice, since her videos are captioned, meaning if you don't understand American Sign Language, you can turn the captions on and read what she's saying, and it makes perfect sense. So she's just asking that we do the same, to be considerate of people like her, people who might have difficulty understanding what we're saying. I will freely confess that at one point I wanted to be an American Sign Language interpreter. I was going to be a medical interpreter. So as I told her on her video, watching her videos kind of feels like coming home for me. It's great practice for me to knock the dust off of my old ASL. I did study for a while, did not actually get my certificate, but the thought is always there in the back of my mind, percolating. So it was great for me. I loved the videos, but I know that some people might be put off by them because they think that they can't understand them. Turn the captions on and you'll be fine. But consider turning the captions on or making sure that your captions are accurate so that Corey has the opportunity to listen to you and see and hear all of your amazing stories too. The other person who made a request was Yanni. If you're not familiar with Yanni, she is one of our Flosstubers who lives in Mexico. She does a lot of mirabilia patterns, she does a lot of her own fabric dyeing, and she's doing Stitch With Me videos, which are amazing. She stitches in hand, which is just fascinating to watch for me personally. And she made the request that maybe some of those of us who speak more than one language might occasionally consider doing Flosstube videos in Spanish. She's done a couple in Spanish. There's another Flosstuber whose name I can't remember at the moment, who's done a couple of Flosstubes in Spanish. And she just suggested that maybe those of us who speak other languages could possibly do a Flosstube video in that language occasionally, because there are communities of stitchers out there who don't speak English as a first language or even a second language, that are very much interested in cross-stitching, that are very much interested in the crafts that we do, but might not be able to access them as easily because they don't have the facility with English that native English speakers do. So, yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool request. I thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know if I will ever do a language video, foreign language video. I'm not fluent in anything but English, but I speak varying degrees of Spanish and Russian and Japanese. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe someday. But it was just something that she put out there, and I thought I would help spread it along. Was there anything else? I wanted to say about my Flosstube and video schedules. I added this at the end of the last video when I did it the first time, and I figured I'd just tuck it in the front here because it was still fresh on my mind. I am planning to do another series of videos that are craft videos, meaning they cover all of my other crafts, my knitting, my spinning, my crocheting, my felt work, my beadwork, my paper crafting, any of that kind of thing, because a couple of people have already asked if I would talk more about the rest of my crafts. I don't really want to do that on my Flosstube video because I feel like if you're here for Flosstube, you're here for Flosstube. You want to hear about and see cross-stitching, not everything else that I do, because I do a lot. So I'm going to start a new series. I'm going to call it, I think, Snips from the Magpie's Nest, because my channel's name is Little Snips, and I talk about being a magpie a lot. So I think I'm going to call it Snips from the Magpie's Nest, and I will try to do those on alternating weeks when I don't do a Flosstube video. So this week, for instance, since I'm doing Flosstube, I would not do a craft video. Next week, because I won't be doing a Flosstube video, I would do a craft video, and I'm planning to do those on Mondays. We'll see how that goes. I'm already doing Flosstube videos every other week, and then trying to do a Bling With Me diamond painting video on Fridays. So it might be a little too crowded, it might be a little too crazy, but we'll see. Well, we'll find out if it works out in the first couple of weeks here. So that is, I think, the administrative stuff that I wanted to do. I will do the giveaways after I go through showing you what I've worked on. And yeah, so let's see if I can get through this video before my camera decides to die on me again. Okay, so yes, I will go ahead and talk about my stitching. That's going to involve telling you a little bit of a sad story. So you know that I was working on my Shakespearean Fantasy by James Christensen as part of the 100 Days of Hade project, or challenge, that Portia challenged us with, which was to touch a Hade project at least for a little bit every day for 100 days in a row to see how much progress you could make. I was doing that. I did sort of slack off on it, and I wasn't keeping up on the 100 days. I was still stitching, but not every day on that project. And then this weekend, I pulled it back out to try to work on it, catch up a little bit, get some more progress done, because I was quite near the end of page 3 on my project. While I was stitching, I started to think about what I was actually stitching and where in the pattern it was. And I was thinking that what I was stitching looked like a part of the tower. If you've seen the Shakespearean Fantasy pattern before, it is black surrounding a tower of green, basically, and in that tower are Shakespearean characters in various poses and things like that. I thought that I was stitching the top of the tower. But then I started thinking, wow, it looks like the tower is really high. Like, I don't think the tower is supposed to start this high in the pattern. So I went and I looked at the actual piece of artwork on the Heaven and Earth website. Lo and behold, I am not stitching the top of the tower. I was actually stitching a character. But because I chose the select a size version of the chart rather than the full color or full size or max color or anything like that chart, the chart was showing some pretty significant, in my opinion, degradation of detail. So let me show you. So this is where I am, where I was in the Shakespearean Fantasy. Now, if you don't know what the pattern is supposed to look like, you would possibly think that this here is background color. It's sky color. It looks sort of like it's breaking up the night sky. A friend of mine who saw it said it looked like a space scene. That, yeah, it looks like it's just scattered stars and color and things. And that's what I honestly thought while I was stitching on it for a while. I thought, oh, it's background color. This is just breaking up the darkness. And then down here, you know, further down the chart, it gets into the characters and you see figures. Well, like I said, I thought that this particular piece was the top part of the tower. But if you look at the actual artwork, this character is actually meant to be Bottom from A Midsummer Night's Dream when he is in his donkey form. So this is actually supposed to be a donkey head. Now, I guess if you look at it close enough, if you like really, I guess actually I should pull it back. If you really study it, you might be able to sort of pick out that there's supposed to be a donkey head there, but it doesn't look like a donkey to me. This splotch that I thought was background color is actually supposed to be Titania, the Queen of the Fairies. And this is actually one of her fairies here. There is a very slight hint that there's supposed to be a face in here, but not enough that it reads like a face to me. This definitely doesn't look like a fairy. And there's another fairy that's over here that, like down here, that I imagine if I had stitched it would not actually look like a fairy either. So, given the lack of detail loss, I decided that I was going to stop and start over with the full-size chart. I did actually buy the full-size chart. I bought it in max color because I really want the detail. That means I am going from 88 colors to 239 colors. That means that my confetti quotient is going to go way up. I mean, really far up. But, as I posted in the Full Coverage Fanatics group, I really love this piece of art. I am a huge Shakespeare fan, and I'm going to stitch this again because now it's become an experiment. Now I want to see how much of a difference all of that confetti and all of that, all those extra colors are going to make in the detail of this particular section of the chart. When I start stitching it again, and I don't promise when that will be, I don't know when that will be, but when I start stitching this portion of the chart again, I want to see if it makes a difference. If it doesn't, then I will stop. I won't stitch the entire chart just to be unhappy with it. I'm not interested in doing that. But I do want to stitch this part at least to see if it makes enough of a difference that I'd be interested in stitching the rest of the chart. The takeaway from this is there are mock-ups on a lot of the Heaven and Earth designs on the website. Make sure when you're buying a chart, particularly if you're buying a mini or a quick stitch or something like that, make sure that you check those mock-ups and that you are satisfied with what you're seeing in the mock-up and you think that you can live with that because you may be losing detail. Now, some of them are not, you don't lose detail. James Christensen charts are very detail heavy. There's a lot going on in these charts. And so reducing the size makes a difference. It does steal detail. It does make the detail fade away, disappear into nothing. Things that have bigger central figures like the Jasmine and Beckett Griffiths and things like that, in mini form, I don't think it makes much of a difference. I don't think you lose a lot of detail. The Amy Stewart bookshelves, on the other hand, you do lose detail. So just make sure that you check. If you can't find a mock-up, or you're not satisfied by the mock-up, then go to the Heaven and Earth group on Facebook, or look at the gallery on the website and try to find the finished piece that you want to work on in the size that you want to work on it. So look for the mini versions of whatever you're working on and look at what they look like finished so that you know and have an expectation of what you're going to get before you spend a lot of time stitching on it. Fortunately for me, I caught it at the end of page 3 as opposed to, the end of page 25 or something like that. So I'm not as upset about it as I thought I would be. I'm not thrilled, but I'm not as upset, you understand. So that's my public service announcement for the episode, and I hope that helps somebody. I will go ahead and get started and show you again what I worked on. I will try, like I said, not to speed through things, but I may not put pictures in just because having to redo the video is a little frustrating. I didn't put a lot of pictures in the other episode because I was bad again and I forgot to take pictures of some of these things. So the other thing I want to say is I noticed that, and now you're going to pay attention to it, but I noticed that this particular format of recording points up the fact that I have a little bit of lazy eye, so pick an eye to concentrate on. Pick this one, because this is the one that is actually looking at you. This one it's a little bit lazy, and so occasionally it wanders, and I don't want to freak anybody out, but I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. Nothing happened to me. I'm not deliberately crossing my eyes or anything, but I do know that this one tends to cross sometimes. So yeah, look at this eye. Right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is my all-time favorite, well, not all-time favorite, but my favorite stitch-along so far this year, and that is The Guardians of Notre Dame by Ingleside Imaginarium. Brittany Church designed this. It is based on the rose window in the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, and I finished the January window and was thrilled to do it because I really want to keep up with this one. I have not really stitched on the February window. This is what it looks like so far. It's this... This tiny amount of purple stitching is this February gargoyle. But he is adorable. Well, he's not, he's handsome, I think. I don't know if adorable is the right word because they're gargoyles, so they're sort of scary. But he is, I like him a lot. I will definitely, I think, be able to finish him by the end of February. If you are not interested in backstitching, this is not the stitch along for you. Because if you notice, in January, there is a lot of backstitching going on. I mean, the window is backstitched, and he is backstitched, and yeah, there's a lot going on. But if you like gargoyles, if you like stained glass, if you like unique shapes, because the border of this is the rose window, so it's a circular border, then you might want to check it out. Look at her group, Ingleside Imaginarium, or, you know, look at the Ingleside Imaginarium stitch-alongs on Instagram, or you can find pictures of this that people have already finished, and I think you might like it. So, or I think a lot of people might like it anyway. Maybe not you in particular, you watching me right now, you might not, but I think a lot of people would. The next thing I'm going to show you is my Summer Unicorn by Doreen Jones. I can insert a picture here of what this looked like before I started stitching on it this year, because I'm working on my Year of Whips in 5-day blocks, and between last video and this one, I had a 5-day block to work on this. Now, I don't necessarily touch everything every day of the 5 days, but I do touch them as much as I can. So this is where this is where I was, and this is where I am. It's kind of hard to show you this because what you're seeing, you can see the outlines of things. So you can see the outline of a heart. You can see the outline of a swirly here. What I stitched is what is not in the I stitched the outline, basically. The stuff that is missing, like the heart and the swirls, those are still part of the fabric, and they will be filled in with other colors later. But I did get that done. I got 2 colors actually finished in this section of the chart. So that's pretty good progress for me. Yeah. I like this a lot, and I have said many times that I love Doreen Jones, so. There are a whole series of unicorns, there are seasonal unicorns, I like seasonal things, I like unicorns, so eventually I will stitch all of them. I mentioned in another video that there was a thing called heart drops, so we're basically spreading the love by leaving, or plan to spread the love by leaving little plastic canvas hearts around, like the painted rock movement, which I'm not familiar with, but that's what I'm told it's similar to. Basically, we have a group on Facebook, which I will link below again. We are stitching hearts on plastic canvas of whatever size you like, in whatever sort of floss you like, and then we are, in theory, going to leave them in public places for people to find. Preferably with a note explaining what they are, and that they're a way to spread the love, and there is actually a group where people who find them, if people find them, can come and report that they found them. So I'm looking forward to seeing the first, like Katie, the Stash Queen, keeps saying, looking forward to see when we start getting our first reports of people finding these in different places. But these are just a few of the ones that I've made, and last time I held this up against fabric and I forgot to do that. They're just a few of the ones that I've made. This is using just, and that's the back. You don't need to see that. There, that's the front. That's better. These are flosses that are the store brand, basically. Loops and Threads, I think, is the name of the brand of embroidery floss that gets used for making friendship bracelets and things like that in Michaels. These are just some variegated options, and so I was originally going to try to do one a year, or one a day, but that hasn't happened, and I don't feel like pressuring myself into doing it, because if it hasn't happened yet, it's not an organic thing for me, so I make them when I feel like making them. And like I said, eventually they will get handed out. And I just dropped everything in my lap, so hang on one second. That was longer than a second, and I still didn't get everything. One more. Okay. In order to make myself feel better about my Heaven and Earth issue, my problem, my mistake, I stitched a little bit on another one of my Heaven and Earth projects. This is my Story Keep White Nine-Tailed Fox by Stephanie Law. I just did about 250 more stitches on this. You can see it's blues. The difficulty with this new format of recording is I have to figure out where my face is and how to show you things without completely covering up my face all the time. Right, so this is Story Keep White Nine-Tailed Fox. It's just the left-hand corner with the blues and some grays in there. I am stitching this. I was stitching my Heaven and Earth designs as 2/1 tent stitch. I am switching back to 1/1 full cross stitch because the warping and potential warping of the fabric when you do tent stitch is bothering me, and I have seen a little bit of evidence of that. So I'm just going to go ahead and suck it up and do 1/1 full cross. I've done it a few times, and it's okay. It does take more time, but I think it's worth it. I would rather have something that I'm convinced or confident that isn't going to warp and be messed up somehow than to speed through things. So it might take me longer, but I'm okay with that. So this is 1/1 full cross. Said it's about 750 stitches of work on the Story Keep. This will be finished this year, I hope. I'm pretty sure I can finish it this year because it's much smaller than a normal sized Heaven and Earth design, but we'll see. But that was my consolation prize. It wasn't a prize, it was my consolation project. I stitched on this one too. This is also a Heaven and Earth design. I don't know if I showed you this because I've reached my goal on this project the last time on the 24th of January, which was the last time I made a video. This is Cosmica. So this was my only full-size Heaven and Earth design. I am using this for the year-long full coverage stitch-along, so I need to stitch 1,200 stitches a month, or 2,400 half stitches, tent stitches a month. This is 2,450 stitches of basically almost entirely anchor black in tent stitch. So as you can see, if you get up close, you can kind of see a little bit of fabric showing through. But if you switch between tent stitch and full cross, you can't really tell the difference on the project unless somebody gets right up close to your project. And if you're getting that close to something that's hanging on my wall, you're just being rude. But yeah, so I'm going to switch to full cross on this. I will continue to work on this. It's not all that exciting, obviously, because it's just a giant block of black. But it's progress, and that's the whole point. These are, by the way, I forgot in the last video to tell you fabric. The Heaven and Earth design is always stitched on 25 count Lugana for me. That is my go-to fabric. My Guardians of Notre Dame is stitched on 28 count even weave in the colorway Ruins by Color and Cotton. What else did I show you? My unicorn, the summer unicorn, is stitched on 28 count Monaco. The next thing I'm going to show you is a new start. I did say that I wasn't going to start anything, or I told myself anyway, that I wasn't going to start anything unless I was starting it for the year of starts, which means we start new projects on the 18th of every month for 2018. But Caroline of Off the Grid Needle Arts and the founder of the Friday Off the Grid Party came up with another idea, which is High Tea Sunday, which is the fact that we should celebrate new starts at the end of the month as well as the beginning of the month, or whenever you start, but at the end of the month we're going to do a new start. She is doing a giveaway on those Sundays, and she is planning to make it so that everybody has an opportunity to enter, meaning she's going to have entries on Facebook, she's going to have entries on YouTube, she's going to have entries on Instagram, so if you don't do one of those things, you will still get the opportunity at some point during the year to enter for a giveaway. But she encouraged us to start a new project. And I also promised myself that I wouldn't start any other big projects for the rest of the year until I finish some things at least, because I do a lot of big projects. But I did want to jump in on the high tea idea, so I did start a new project, and it's a little project, and it has language. So if you have children watching with you or listening, you might want to fast forward through this section. It's not bad language, but it might be something you don't want them to see or hear. So I will give you a little bit of time to usher people out or cover their eyes or whatever. And then I will show you that I am stitching the names of the 7 menopausal dwarves by Sue Hillis. It looks like this. And I think it's appropriate for women of a certain age, which I am. So yeah, I thought it was funny, and I showed it to a couple of my friends, and they thought it was funny. And since I know that they will appreciate having something made for them, I am going ahead and making it for them. Now, I did say them. I am stitching 2 of these at the same time because I know myself, and I know that I don't like to stitch things more than once usually. And if I don't stitch these at the same time, I am not going to stitch them at all. Or rather, I will stitch one, and then I will never stitch the second one. So I am stitching 2 of those at the same time. And I started, of course, with the obnoxious word. And that's because I didn't have the color that I needed for itchy that goes on the top here. So I just started with the next one down and the next color that I had, which happened to be this one. Like I said, I am doing both of them at once. So this is just on, half of a piece of 18 count Aida. I'm using DMC threads, which is what's called for. And I will make these for my friends and send them to them. And yeah, it should be a relatively quick project whenever I get around to it. I probably won't stitch this for myself, though I do think it's pretty cute, so I might at some point in the future, but who knows. Stitching it is supposed to be fun, and it is fun, so that's what matters. The next thing I'll show you is my Bands of Variation Stitch Along by Doreen Jones, hosted by Lakeside Needlecraft. I think I showed you last time that I had finished the January block, which is this block, the green and yellow block. And I have started, as you can see, the February block, which is green and blue. I haven't done a lot, obviously. Like I said, it's hard to see where I'm supposed to be showing you things, but I haven't done a lot, but I don't think it's going to be a problem to finish this by the end of February. I am traveling at the end of February, or rather at the very beginning of March, but I think I can have this done by then. So yeah, I love the fact that with the camera, with the phone, you get more clarity, better color and that kind of thing, so you can definitely see more of the color of the rainbow. I was speculating about how this is going to go for the rest of the year, and I think, because this is a pure red block that started in January, I think we're going to cycle through all of the colors and come to a pure red block at the end of December as well. So we'll see if my prediction is right. And I dropped stuff again. The next thing I want to show you is my Modern Folk Embroidery Stitch Along. This is by Modern Folk Embroidery. It is a Quaker style Stitch Along sampler. And I did not get it finished last month, which is fine. I figured that there would be some stitch alongs that I wouldn't actually finish. This is one of them, but I did get quite a bit more done. I'm not exactly sure how much I had done when I showed you last. I think something like, I think I might have been like in through part of this flower in the corner, but I hadn't finished it. I have reached now, this here is the far right-hand side of the first block, of the January block. So I have reached the top, the edge of the top here. This is not quite the bottom on the left-hand side of the block. It's a rectangular block, so it's a little bit longer, taller than it is wide. But I did make some good progress, and I will be continuing to work on this. This is on 16 count white Aida. I am using sulky royal navy blue thread to stitch it, so it's slightly variegated, but not super noticeably. But I do love this pattern. I have, like I said in another video, I have discovered a love for these patterns. So, yeah, sorry, I'm watching the time on the video. So, yeah. Bending over again, sorry. I also didn't finish this stitch along, and honestly I didn't expect to because it's pretty big. This is the Linen and Threads Mystery Stitch Along for 2018, and this is what it looks like. Again, I don't remember what I showed you last time. I think I had part of the bird and I had some of this framing scroll work done, but not all of it. The nice part, again, about this camera is that the colors are better. So this is actually about what the fabric looks like in real life. It might be a little bit more purple, but it's pretty close to this. So I've been struggling to show you what it looks like all along, and this is the best you're going to get. I wanted this to look like an old-fashioned tapestry, and I think it does with the colors. So this is only, this is not even a third of the band finished, though. So yeah, I'm hoping to catch up this month. The February band is not very complicated. So if I'm lucky, I can finish the January band and catch up on February. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't, but I'm hoping that I can. The last thing I have to show you is my, sorry I keep bending over. Like I said, I dumped everything out of my lap. Is my rocking horse. Teresa Wentzler rocking horses. I am stitching, this is an old pamphlet. I am stitching this one. I am stitching Sweetheart here in the corner. So she has the Valentine's Day sort of decorations. And I could show you a picture. I think I did show you a picture of where she was. And we'll know. Okay, I'll insert a picture of where she was before, just for record's sake. And then this is where she is now. And I'm not showing you the back, right? Okay. So I didn't do a lot on her rotation. Basically, I filled in some of the greenery on her mane and on her saddle and in her tail and some in the rocker on the bottom. I had vague notions of trying to finish this by Valentine's Day for my husband because he really likes carousel horses and rocking horses and things like that. I don't think that's going to happen. I will continue to stitch on her. She is in my year of whips, but I don't think I'm going to try to rush myself into finishing this because I haven't gotten a lot of progress on her and I have other things I need to stitch on. But I do really love her. I am planning on stitching all of them. There are 6 rocking horses. I am planning on stitching all of them. Probably not all this year, but I am planning on stitching all of them. Right. And that is what I have stitched on since the last episode. I think, let me do haul really quickly because then I can do the giveaways without having to feel super rushed if I can get through the haul. So, haul. I did get a few things. I found another Joan Elliott Southwestern pamphlet that is out of print and went and snatched that up off of Etsy. It is Southwest imagery. I really like this one. I mean, the cactuses are cute, but I really like the pottery and the women sitting here, so I will stitch that at some point for sure. I do have, it's the second of the Southwestern pamphlets that I found by her for Dimension. And I do have the Native American book as well. So anything Joan Elliott and Southwest, if you combine them, I'm pretty happy about that. I did also get my Winter 2018 Stony Creek magazine. I heard a rumor that, or I thought I heard a rumor that they were no longer going to do subscriptions for this magazine. Obviously, I got mine, so I don't know if that means they're not taking new subscriptions. I did notice that, or they're planning to discontinue the magazine. I don't know. I'm trying to look into that, but I don't know. If you know, if anybody knows, please go ahead and leave a comment and tell the rest of us. If you want me to do a flip through of this magazine, I'm happy to do so. I think that Danielle Stitcherista might do one. I don't know if Kelly is going to do one, Kelly Bell. But yeah, if you want me to do a flip through, let me know and I'll be happy to do that. I mentioned when I found the Spring Queen on Etsy, the Mirabilia Spring Queen, that I really like the seasonal queens and I like a couple of the other queens and I wanted to do them. I had forgotten that there was a Queen of Peace. She is also out of print and somewhat difficult to find and some kind of expensive if you can find her. So she's not high on my list of things to buy, but I do like the chart. The Queen of Freedom doesn't really move me. It just doesn't. I'm not really into super patriotic displays, so she doesn't really move me. She's pretty, but I don't need to have her, I don't think. But I did get the Holiday Queen, Christmas Queen, Royal Holiday, whatever you want to call her. She is marked as Christmas Queen on the back of this, and I know that people have called her Holiday Queen as well. I really love her, so I'm glad I got her. I would really like to have the Gypsy Queen as well. I think she's pretty spectacular. And then that would finish my Queen collection, I think. unless we're talking about Nora Corbett's, and then I want the Rain Queen, and I want the Willow Queen, and all sorts of things like that. But that's not in the same series, so. I also, in order to console myself over my Heaven and Earth mistake, I went and bought another Heaven and Earth pattern. I bought Tending the Dragon's Sleep, Mini Tending the Dragon's Sleep. That is what she looks like. And I did go, taking my own advice, I did go and check the mock-up before I bought this to make sure that it looked like something I could live with. Now, if it's more degraded when I stitch it, I guess I'll deal with that when I get to it. But I have no idea or no plans on when I plan to start this, but I did. It's been on my wish list for a while, and I felt like making myself feel better, so I did. The other thing I bought is I bought The Legend of the Wolf Maiden by Gloria West from Artisy, and this is another full coverage piece, and it's just beautiful. I love her series of maidens. There's she's got a butterfly maiden and a raven maiden, and there's a Dreams of the Wolf Maiden, and I think they're gorgeous, and I would really like to have all of them eventually. This is the first one, and like I said, it is full coverage. I don't know when I'm going to start it. Someday. I will start it someday, but I don't know when. But yeah, I bought that as well. What else do I have to show you? Oh, I was going to show you my color and coffee. Well, I will. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull these out. Because, again, the color is better on this camera than it has been in the past. Of course, I have to find them, sorry. I put them in a bag with older colors, and now they're all mixed up. Barnwood. These are the January colors from Color and Cotton from her Floss Club. Sherwood. This pink one, and which one of the blues? Oh no, Dove Gray, Princess Blue, that one, and that one. Okay. So these are the January clubs from the Floss Club. I am in the, I get 5 skeins a month. And I haven't bothered trying to show you colors before because I struggle so much with colors. But I think, yeah, those are pretty. You can see pretty accurately the colors. This one, this is actually, it's Dove Gray, so it's not, it is blue, but it's gray, a really light gray blue. What are they? Princess Blue. So Princess Blue is this one, which I think is really gorgeous. And Sherwood is this lovely evergreen variegated green. Love it. So I got those. I also, if you remember that XJU Design started a Fabric of the Month Club this year. She started it in January. And on Instagram, excuse me, Flosstube, itchy nose. On Instagram, Stitchy Mom had a giveaway for a 3-month subscription to the club, and I won. And my fabric has finally come in. My package came in. The Postal Service tried to hide it from me, but I did go and find it and track it down. If you are in the club and you have not gotten your package yet and you don't want to see what it looks like, fast forward a couple minutes and you'll be fine. Or a few minutes and you won't see it. If you don't mind spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I got because I think it's really pretty and I'm really very excited. And really glad that I won because, yeah. So I am in the 18 count Ada club in the Bright group. You can join for various counts of fabric, different kinds of fabric, and you can join either the Prim Colorway Club or the Bright Club. I joined the Bright Club on 18 count Ada, and this is what I got. I'm trying to find where is a good way to hold that up. Does that help? Yeah, a little bit. It's called Mother Nature. It is, I am modeled, obviously. It's a modeled sort of light foresty green. It's hard to show you what color it is. It's darker than that. It's not as bright as that, but it's really pretty. I really like it. I really do enjoy it a lot, and it kind of strikes me as something that a mermaid needs to go on, but I don't have a lot of mermaids, so I'll probably find something else to put on it. But yeah, I like it a lot. In the package, she mentioned that she was going to be giving us some little freebie extras in our packages. And this month, she sent us a pattern. She has been pairing up with vintage tulip designs for some of her cross-stitch kits. And this is a freebie pattern. I'm not going to show it to you because it's just the pattern. But there is a freebie pattern in the package this month. And she sent, along with the package, or with the freebie pattern, she sent a couple little mini skeins of her hand-dyed floss that are some of the colors that go in that pattern. So she sent these. So this is green peas, and this is, oh, what's it called again? It's called My Little Tulip. So those are really pretty colors. And then, in addition, she sent 5 skeins of her hand-dyed floss. Because she does dye floss as well as fabric. So, she sent me these as well. Which I think are really pretty. There's a little more variegation in her flosses than there are in the the color and cotton flosses, and I do like variegated flosses. So I'm very excited about these. They kind of make me want to go and buy a bunch of her flosses, which I might do. Just as a reminder, or if you didn't know, if you buy $50 worth of product from her, she does give you free shipping. $50 US. She gives you free shipping. So it's definitely a good deal. And I have bought from her before. I have shown you fabric from her before. But I'm really looking forward to the rest of the packages for the club. And yeah, I have said thank you privately. But Stitchy Mom, if you happen to watch this, thank you again for giving me the subscription. I really enjoy it. And I will very likely continue the subscription once this 3 months runs out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Let me go ahead and take care of the giveaways. As you may know or may not know, but you'll find out now, I am following in the footsteps of Michelle Garrett, Bendy Stitchy Michelle, and I am doing giveaways, magazine giveaways. These are things that are patterns that have been ripped out of magazines. So if that bothers you, then these giveaways are not for you. But I bought the magazines off of somebody who was getting rid of them because she was thinning down her collection, and I have taken the patterns that I wanted out of them, and now I have bags and bags and bags of magazines that I don't need. I have taken them to my stitching group, and they've gone through them. So the next thing is to give them or offer them to you. Once that's done, whatever is left over, I will simply recycle. Michelle mentioned in one of her videos that she didn't like it when people took patterns out of a magazine and then took the disassembled magazine to charity shops. I agree with her. I don't think that that's a cool thing to do. If you want to give magazines, then give the entire magazine, not what's been taken apart. I apologize for the fact that my throat is cracking or my voice is cracking. I did not bring a drink in with me this time and my throat is getting dry. So I'm going to give away things from my last episode. If I can find where I put my list of who won what. Aha, there it is. Okay. So the first thing I want to show you is the Tea Time Treats, which was a series of teapot coasters. I believe there's 4 of them. Whoop. Can you see that one? There you go. So teapot coasters. And the person who won this pattern is Tina Stitches. So Tina, I will make a comment on your comment. I will leave you my email address so you can send me your mailing address so I can get this out to you. I am a procrastinator, guys, so your pattern will get to you. If it doesn't come in the first 3 days or whatever, don't panic. It is still coming. But yeah, Tina Stitches won the teapot coasters. The next one is the Bath Time Fun, which was teddy bears. So they show it on a child's bathrobe, like after the kid has taken a bath, they show it on the kid's bathrobe. Where's the picture? There. And there's another detail shot of what the teddy bears look like. You don't have to put them on a bathrobe, obviously. They're just teddy bear patterns to be used on whatever. The person who won the teddy bears is Stitching Marie. So, Marie, I'm assuming that's your name. I will, again, comment on your comment. I will leave you my email address, get in contact with me, and I'll get this sent out. And the last one from my last episode is kind of a surprise to me. I expected more people to be interested in this, but it doesn't matter. It could be one person who's interested, and if no one is interested, I'll just hold them over until my next inclination to give them out. But this was Puppy Love. It's a bunch of puppies. Look how cute they are. Puppies. And that is a Margaret Cherry design. And the person who is winning this pattern is Ella. I'm sorry if I butcher your name. I hope not. I don't. But it's Ella Adamilak, something like that. I apologize. I feel like that's terrible. But anyway, Ella, again, this is yours. You won it. I will send it to you. I will contact you or leave a comment anyway, and you can send me your address, and I will get it sent out to you. So those are the patterns from last time, and here are the patterns from this time. I think... Are these the ones? Yes, okay. So the first one is from... I turned my light off and now I regret it because the January 2009 issue of Cross Stitcher magazine. And it is Go Continental. And it is 3 little car designs, if you can see those. So there's London, there's Paris, and there's Berlin. I thought they were kind of cute. Kind of retro 60s poster-esque looking kind of things. So if you would like to stitch these, please say, I'd like to stitch the cars. As my usual disclaimer, I would prefer it if you're a subscriber, if you would like to have these sent to you. I would like you to be over 18 because I need your address, so I need permission to get your address from you. And don't say giveaway. Do not say the word, don't put the word giveaway in the comments. But do leave me a comment about which one you want. The next one I'm going to give away, don't fall, please. The next one I'm going to give away is a pillow. It is designed to be put on a pillow. I don't think you have to put it on a pillow. I'm trying to hold this up. It's a home pillow. The picture is on 2 pieces, so it starts HOM and then there's E. So it's a home pillow, and I just can't, there. Sort of, that's what it looks like. This is, I believe, also from a Cross Stitcher magazine. This is from Cross Stitch magazine of July 2010. So if you are interested in stitching this, then say I would like to stitch the home pillow. Because the reason I'm saying home pillow is because the next one is also a pillow, or can also be a pillow. This is an owl pillow, also from Cross Stitcher magazine. This one is December of 2010, I think. The dangers of not having an overhead light on. But it looks like this. Stop being glary so I can show them what you look like. It's a really cute little owl pattern. Pillow pattern. The best part about this is that, in addition to the pillow pattern, there are some smaller patterns in here that you will also be getting. The pattern itself is called What a Hoot, but there are these smaller owls. There's this pattern. You can make a mobile, and they have instructions on how to do this stuff as well. So, yeah. If you would like to stitch the owl pattern, then just say, I'd like to stitch the owls, or I'd like to stitch an owl, or say owl somewhere. But that's why I said home pillow, because if you just say the pillow, I won't necessarily know which one you want. You are certainly entitled to say that you would like to stitch all of them. At the moment, I'm giving one pattern to one person, so if I happen to draw your number for more than one pattern, I'm redrawing and giving it to the next person who comes up. I feel like that's fair because I don't have that many people who are competing for the patterns, and I don't have that many patterns that I'm giving out right now. That may increase in the future as I get more viewers, more subscribers. I hope I get more subscribers. I may increase the number of patterns, and I may waive that rule and say that you can win as many patterns as you want. But for right now, I'm only giving one pattern per episode. So you can win back-to-back episodes, but in each episode, you can only win one pattern. But you are welcome to say you want all of them and take your chances that you might win one. So that's that. I think this went much faster than the last episode. I sort of rambled less. I sort of restructured the way I talked did my sections. So it's interesting that my door is like blown out with light. It is later in the afternoon than I normally record, so that's probably why. Oh, one thing. I wanted to apologize to those of you who watched my last video and noticed that while I was telling you I wasn't going to surprise you with snakes, I had a snake back here in the background dancing around and showing off her belly. That is my girl named Pandora, so it's sort of appropriate that she caused trouble. But I wanted to apologize for the fact that while I was saying, hey, I'm not going to scare you with snakes, my snake had other ideas. And my snake was going booga 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 or whatever she was doing. I appreciate the fact that some of you really can't handle snakes and that you don't want to watch that episode or didn't watch it beyond the fact that you could see the snake. I appreciate that. And yeah, like I said, at some point I will probably show you more of my snakes. I will take them out of the boxes and introduce them to you on camera, but I will warn you before I do that. The background stuff, unfortunately, I can't control, obviously, what they're going to do, when they're going to move or not move. So, but again, I apologize if that bothered you. And, like I said, as I always do, I was going to stop talking, and I didn't, so I will now. Thank you so much for coming back and watching my videos. You have until my next video, which should be, assuming everything goes to plan, should be February 18th. You have until February 18th to get your comments in down below about which patterns you might like. Again, I will comment on the winners by leaving a comment on your comment. And yeah. If you like my videos, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I always like to see those. If you are interested in subscribing, please subscribe. I do encourage comments and questions and things like that. I don't necessarily answer questions or on camera anyway, because I'm not that organized. But I do try to answer them in the comments. And, excuse me, hiccup. Yeah. So, that's it. I'm really going to stop talking this time. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, guys.